Hey everyone, it is good to be back with you. When I first started out with money, I really thought I had it all figured out. I saw all these people online flashing fancy cars and talking about how they doubled their money in a week, and honestly, I wanted a piece of that action. My background, well, it was pretty normal. My family, we were not rich, we were not poor, just average. So, the idea of making a lot of money quickly, it was incredibly appealing. I was in my early 20s, hungry for success, and totally naive about how the real world of investing worked. I remember my first real dive into the market. It was pure excitement. I was constantly checking my phone, looking at charts, reading every hot tip I could find online. I thought I was smart. I thought I was seeing patterns others missed. I was convinced I was on the verge of something big. What I did not realize then was that I was just another fish in a very, very big ocean, being lured by the biggest, shiniest bait. One of the first big mistakes I made was chasing trends. Everyone was talking about certain stocks, certain sectors, and I just jumped right in. I did not do any research. I did not understand the underlying businesses. I just bought because the price was going up. And for a little while, it felt great. My portfolio was green, I was telling my friends about my genius moves, and I felt like a financial wizard. But as quickly as it went up, it came crashing down. The market shifted, those hot stocks cooled off, and I was left holding the bag, watching my money disappear faster than it had appeared. That was my first taste of real loss, and it stung. It really, really stung. Then there were the scams. Oh, the scams. I was so desperate for easy money that I fell for a few too many. There were these exclusive groups promising insane returns, requiring a small upfront investment to join. There were these financial advisors who reached out to me on social media with impressive-looking profiles and stories of helping people get rich. I believed them. I wanted to believe them. I sent them money, thinking this was my shortcut to wealth. Of course, the money vanished. Along with the advisors and the exclusive groups. It felt incredibly foolish. It felt like I was being taken advantage of because of my own greed and ignorance, and it reinforced the painful lesson that if something sounds too good to be true, it almost always is. Another huge mistake was my lack of risk management. I would put all my eggs in one basket. Sometimes, literally, I would invest a significant portion of my savings into a single stock or a single opportunity, because I was so convinced it would pay off big. I never thought about what would happen if it went south. I never considered the possibility of losing it all. I just focused on the potential upside. This meant that when those investments did fail, and they often did, the impact on my financial situation was devastating. I was not just losing a small percentage, I was losing big chunks of my savings, because I had no diversification, no stop losses, no safety nets whatsoever. It was reckless, and it cost me dearly. Emotional trading was another big problem for me. I would buy when I felt excited, sell when I felt scared. I would panic when the market dipped and jump in impulsively when I saw something rising. My decisions were driven by fear and greed, not by logic or a well-thought-out plan. My emotions were completely in control of my money for a long time. And that is a recipe for disaster. I was constantly buying high and selling low, the exact opposite of what you were supposed to do. This cycle of impulsive decisions and regret, it was exhausting. I remember nights just staring at the ceiling, replaying trades, wondering why I had been so foolish. The stress was immense. It affected my sleep, my mood, even my relationships. It was not just about the money lost, but the peace of mind that went with it. I thought I was being smart, but I was just being reactive, letting the market manipulate my feelings and my decisions. After countless setbacks, after losing what felt like all my hard-earned savings, I had a moment of real clarity. It was not a sudden revelation, more like a slow, painful realization. I was tired of the anxiety, the constant checking, the hope followed by crushing disappointment. I was tired of feeling like a failure. That is when I decided to completely change my approach. I realized that the get-rich-quick mentality was poison. It was leading me down a path of endless losses and stress. I needed to learn, really learn, how money works, how investing actually works, and how to build wealth slowly and steadily. So I started from scratch. I began reading books, reputable financial articles, and listening to podcasts from actual experts, not just internet gurus. I learned about long-term investing, diversification, asset allocation, and risk management. I understood the importance of compounding and the power of consistent, disciplined saving. It was not exciting, it was not flashy, but it made sense. It felt stable. It felt like something I could actually sustain. My mindset completely shifted. I let go of the idea of getting rich overnight. Instead, I embraced the idea of building a secure future, one small, consistent step at a time. I started focusing on saving money, building an emergency fund, and investing in low-cost, diversified index funds. I stopped checking the market every 5 minutes. I stopped listening to rumors and hot tips. I learned to ignore the noise and stick to my plan. My current situation is much different. I am no longer chasing speculative gains. I am no longer gambling with my money. I am building slowly but surely. I still invest, but now it is with a clear head and a long-term perspective. My focus now is on teaching others, especially young people in their 20s, about the mistakes I made so they do not have to repeat them. I want to share the hard-won lessons, the painful truths, and the simple strategies that actually work. It is about understanding the fundamentals. It is about not getting swept up in the hype. It is about protecting your money first before trying to grow it. It is about being patient. These are not exciting lessons, but they are crucial. And honestly, I wish someone had taught me these things earlier. I wish I had understood that real wealth is built with patience and discipline, not with reckless speculation. When you are starting out, it is so easy to be seduced by the idea of fast money. The internet is full of stories of people who made millions in a short time, and it creates this illusion that everyone else is getting rich while you are missing out. But those stories, they are often the exceptions, or they are incomplete. They do not tell you about the huge risks involved, or the many people who lost everything trying to achieve those same results. My advice to anyone in their 20s, or anyone new to investing, is this. Do not try to hit home runs every time. Focus on getting singles and doubles. Build a strong foundation first. Understand that investing involves risk, and you need to manage that risk intelligently. Never invest money you cannot afford to lose. That sounds like a cliché, but it is true. It is a fundamental rule that I learned the hard way. Another critical point is to be skeptical. If someone is promising you guaranteed high returns with little to no risk, run. Seriously, run in the other direction. There are no shortcuts in building wealth, only consistent effort and smart decisions. Do your own research. Understand what you are investing in. If you cannot explain it simply, then you probably do not understand it well enough. And if you do not understand it, you should not be putting your money into it. Be aware of your own emotions. We are all human, and our emotions can play tricks on us, especially when money is involved. Develop a plan, write it down, and stick to it. Even when things get volatile, do not let fear or greed dictate your investment choices. This takes practice, it takes discipline, but it is one of the most important skills you can develop as an investor. I made the mistake of thinking I was smarter than the market, that I could outsmart everyone else. I learned that the market is a very humbling place. It does not care about your feelings, your hopes, or your dreams. It just is what it is. And the sooner you accept that, the better off you will be. My journey has been expensive, both financially and emotionally, but I have come out of it with invaluable lessons. I am not a financial guru. I am just a guy who made a lot of mistakes and is now trying to share what he learned, so you do not have to go through the same pain. My goal is to help you build a solid financial future based on reality and common sense, not on hype and speculation. So, let us talk about responsible investing. Let us talk about building wealth in a way that actually works. Let us talk about avoiding the mistakes that cost me so much. This journey is about learning, growing, and making smart choices with your money. It is about understanding that true financial freedom comes from knowledge and discipline, not from chasing fleeting opportunities. I hope my experiences, however painful they were, can serve as a guide, a warning, and an inspiration for you to build your own financial success story, one that is built on solid ground. Let us dig a bit deeper into some of the practical steps that helped me turn things around. First, I had to confront my own psychology. The desire for quick wins, the fear of missing out, or FOMO. These are powerful forces that can hijack your financial decisions. I started journaling my trades, not just the financial numbers, but my emotional state when I made each decision. This helped me identify patterns of impulsive behavior driven by emotion rather than logic. It was a tough mirror to look into, but it was essential for self-awareness. Recognizing these emotional triggers was the first step to disarming them. Another crucial step was setting clear, realistic financial goals. Before, my goal was simply to get rich. Now, it is more specific. Like save X amount for retirement by this ages, or build an emergency fund equal to 6 months of expenses. These concrete goals gave me something tangible to work towards rather than a vague, unattainable dream. It shifted my focus from speculation to accumulation, from chasing fantasies to building real security. I also embraced the power of automation. I set up automatic transfers from my checking account to my savings and investment accounts every payday. This meant that I was paying myself first before I even had a chance to spend the money. It removed the decision-making process, making saving and investing a habit rather than an effort. This simple change had a profound impact, ensuring consistent contributions to my financial future, regardless of how I felt on a particular day. The concept of time in the market, not timing the market, became a mantra for me. I stopped trying to predict market movements, which is a fool's errand. Instead, I committed to regular, consistent investing, also known as dollar-cost averaging. This strategy helped me buy more shares when prices were low and fewer when prices were high, smoothing out my average purchase price over time. It eliminated the stress of trying to perfectly time my entries and exits. A game I was never going to win. Diversification, which I completely ignored in my early days, became a cornerstone of my strategy. Instead of putting all my money into one stock, I spread it across a broad range of assets. This included investing in broad market index funds and exchange-traded funds, or ETFs, which hold a basket of many different stocks or bonds. This significantly reduced my overall risk, as the performance of any single company or sector would not have a devastating impact on my entire portfolio. It is like having many small bets instead of one huge risky wager. I also learned the importance of having an emergency fund. Before, every spare dollar went into speculative investments. Now, I prioritize having a readily accessible fund for unexpected expenses, like medical emergencies or job loss. This fund provides a critical buffer, preventing me from having to sell investments at an inopportune time or go into debt when life throws a curveball. It is foundational for financial peace of mind. Education remains an ongoing process for me. The financial world is constantly evolving, and there is always something new to learn. I continue to read, listen, and stay informed, but now I do so with a critical eye, discerning between reliable information and baseless hype. I seek out diverse perspectives and understand that no single source has all the answers. This continuous learning helps me refine my strategies and adapt to new market conditions, but always within the framework of my core principles of patience and discipline. Building this platform and sharing my story has also been incredibly therapeutic. It allows me to process my past mistakes and reinforce the lessons I have learned. It is a way for me to give back and hopefully prevent others from falling into the same traps I did. The feedback and discussions I have with all of you, it is invaluable. It reminds me that we are all on this journey together, learning and growing. Remember, the goal is not to avoid all risks, but to understand and manage them. There is no such thing as a completely risk-free investment that offers significant returns. If someone tells you otherwise, they are probably trying to sell you something. The key is to take calculated risks that align with your financial goals and your tolerance for potential loss. I hope that by sharing these very personal experiences, you can see that it is okay to make mistakes. The important thing is what you learn from them and how you adapt. My journey from a naive, impulsive investor to someone who now approaches money with patience and a long-term perspective has been transformative. It has given me a sense of control and peace that I never had when I was chasing quick riches. So take a deep breath. Do not feel pressured to jump into the next big thing. Focus on the basics, build good habits, and understand that consistency beats intensity every single time in the world of personal finance. Your financial future is a marathon, not a sprint. And with the right approach, you can absolutely build the wealth and security you deserve without all the stress and heartache I experienced. Thank you for being here, and I look forward to our next conversation.